Hi, my name is Kason Joyner. I'm in 10th grade at Camden County High School. This month we're talking about the gospel for students, by students. When we look at the world, it doesn't take long for us to see that something is wrong. We see evil, injustice, starvation, war, cheating, stealing. We see brokenness. But also, if we look hard enough, we see a lot of beauty and good. We see sunsets, beaches, mountains, kindness, and friendship. We see the beauty of God's original design. From the very beginning of the Bible, we see God as the creator. Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." There is a God who made all we see, touch, and hear. He is good, He is loving, He wants what's best for us, and everything He made was good, perfect, actually. In Genesis 1:31, it says, "Then God looked over all He had made, and He saw that it was very good." God's original design had us in His creation in a perfect relationship with Him. God walked with mankind, talked with mankind. He was close, and this relationship is what made everything perfect. God was and is the source of all life, and mankind had real life because God was close with us. This is God's design, and in it, mankind thrived. There was no pain, no loneliness, no sadness, no sickness. Life was full of perfect because we lived with God. And God's design doesn't just apply to the world around us. It's not just how He designed the trees and the water cycle. It applies to how He designed us as well and how He designed our lives. We are all looking for a purpose in our life. We wonder what's the meaning of all this. We wonder why we're even here in the first place. Well, God has a design for all of this. God's design is that we know Him, that we are close with Him. He has a plan for us. He has a purpose for us. He has designed something specifically for each and every one of us. God cares about all the aspects of our lives. And when we live in that design, we live in what we call a full life. But sadly, mankind didn't really stick to that design. Mankind thought we knew better, and we continue to think we know better. We saw God's way and God's design and decided to go our own way, to ignore how God told us best to live our lives. This is where the Bible tells us sin entered the world. That in the very beginning, Adam and Eve decided their way was better than God's, but it isn't just Adam and Eve, it's all of us, every single person. In Romans 3:23, it says, "For everyone has sinned, we all fall short of God's glorious standard." The Bible uses some not so normal words to help us understand the current standing of humans with God. It uses words like transgression, iniquity, and sin. This last one being the most common. The most common meaning all of these words simply to fail or to miss the goal. Meaning God is perfect and designed things perfectly. He made mankind in His image, but sadly, we have not lived up to that. And every time we fail to live in that design or to be perfect and hold up perfection, we sin. We fall short and we miss the mark. God made everything, designed it to work a specific way. We tend to not care and do things in our own way. Not only is this kind of a slap in the face to God, but also when you use things in ways that they aren't meant to be used, they break. So when we try to have love in our life, but don't use it in the way God designed it, things break and are hurt. Relationships crumble and friendships end. When we try to work in a way that contradicts how God designed it, things break. We burn out, we become exhausted and quit. When we try to relax or have fun not the way how God designed it, things break. We end up stressed out, feeling empty and hollow instead of rested and refreshed. You get it. Since God is the literal designer and source of life itself, turning away from Him didn't go so well. So when sin and evil entered the world, pain, loneliness, sadness, sickness also entered the world. Things became broken. The Bible describes it like a curse. We still see remnants of God's design. There is still goodness and beauty, but it's not the same. It's twisted and messed up. And around the beauty is a whole lot of darkness. The world is broken. When something is broken, you try to fix it. And what we broke, we can't seem to fix. So here's where humanity finds itself, in a broken and battered world by our own doing with no way to fix it. But hope isn't lost. God quickly went to work to bring us back to the way He designed it. Despite mankind turning from God, doing the opposite of what He said and designed, despite us breaking all of God's perfect and beautiful stuff, His love for us never wavered. He never changed. He had compassion on us. He saw our situation and He did something about it. From the moment mankind messed it all up, God put a plan into place. All the way back to Genesis 3, God tells Adam and Eve how their sin is going to make things really tough and difficult. There are consequences of sin. But someday God says, I'll send somebody to fix all of this mess, and that someday arrived when Jesus was born. This is the gospel.